Hey, what's up?
Ready for book club?
I am obsessed.
This is the worst.
What do you mean?
What? No, idiot.
Welcome to book club. Welcome to book club.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome
Welcome
back
back
to
to
Book
Book Club. And I am so excited today because after a summer, a summer loving romance time,
Mm-hmm.
we're back in fantasy land, which is really the only land I ever want to be in.
No,
I
so
love
real.
rom-coms, and we had a great little fun summer of them, of some good little summer books. But now we're back into some fantasy, romantasy. And this book, okay, sorry, I didn't even say the name of the book. We're talking about Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I don't have the book sleeve on right now.
I don't either.
Because the dust sleeves drive me crazy.
Okay, and also, look at this hardcover.
And this is precious. It is, if you can't really see it very well, hold on. It's a typewriter, and it says, Dear Iris, who is our female main character. And the typewriter means so much in this book.
So cute. I'm obsessed with it. And it's like a gold foiled.
I am also
yes,
it's
so good. And the story's amazing. The cover is amazing. We're back into Romantasy, which is amazing. Everything about this experience,
amazing. We haven't finished it yet.
No.
I am according to Goodreads, I'm about 80% of the way done. I'm almost finished with it.
Oh.
Where are you at?
I stopped when I thought we were stopping at like the 50%.
Oh shit, dog. I didn't know that. I read so much last night.
Well, not me. I got some catching up to do.
Oh shit, dude. Oh my god, I wish you had read. It gets so good. Okay, that's fine though. I'll go to where you are. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to try not to spoil it. So if you want to read Divine Rivals and you haven't read it yet, you can still watch this episode because we're not going to spoil it. We're just going to talk about it a little bit. And then when we finish it, maybe when we finish the duology, because it's only 2 books.
Yeah.
Maybe when we finish the duology, we can do like a full episode on it. Or maybe we'll do a full episode on it. We'll just do like 2 back to back. I don't know.
I'm also obsessed. Well, actually, I'll talk about it when we get back from our intro. But yeah, that's what we're talking about
I think I'm going to put the intro in the beginning, actually.
Just at the beginning of the whole episode?
That's what I did last week because it was just a episode. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I think it did all right. So I think I'm going to do that again.
Okay, slay. So then what I am obsessed with is the symbolism of the name.
Yes.
Like
Beautiful. Do you have the quote of that? Oh my God. I wish we had done sticky notes because now I don't remember.
No, I don't feel like I have gotten to the quote then.
Oh, of the
Maybe I have.
symbolism of like Iris's name?
No, not of her actual name. I was talking about the title of the book, Divine Rivals, like the symbolism behind that, like around like the characters. No, I haven't gotten to that part.
Hold on. Tell me what page you're on because I don't want to spoil anything.
Like
for
137, where you were like last Friday when I met you there. I was like, yeah, I'll stop there since
I didn't know we were
supposed to film this episode on Friday, but then neither of us wanted to on Friday because we had both had it had just been a week, to say the least. So Friday evening after I got off work was like not the ideal time to film. And then I had a jam-packed weekend and so did Carrie. And so now we're filming this on a Monday and I stopped reading and Carrie did not.
I did not. Wait, so you're only on chapter 20?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dog. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, that I wish you had read so badly.
Well,
you're going to lose your shit.
Goody.
It's okay. It's okay, though, because I'm also excited for you to read it now. Oh, my God, I'm so excited for you to start reading. Because the first part of this is also still good. But now
And we're doing this episode without spoilers, so...
yes, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
So we're good.
But
I am confused, though, by what you mean about the symbolism in the name of the book, Divine Rivals.
Well, this isn't a spoiler. But obviously, Iris, our main character, and Roman are rivals.
Mm-hmm.
But just like the meaning of divine behind having to do with like...
It also... the way I explained this book to my boyfriend Dylan was like, if there was a girl or boy, if they like romantasy, whatever, but normally the book talk girlies is who we're talking to. If there was a girl that grew up and was super into the energy, not necessarily the vibes, but the energy of Percy Jackson, but also was really into historical fiction, this is like kind of, in my opinion, a perfect mesh of those. The farther you get into the book, the more we learn about the mythology between this, again, not a spoiler. There are two gods at war. Basically, this book takes place in, the vibes are giving like old-timey London, sort of, like maybe early 1900s. I think technically I saw a date in there that said like the late 1800s, but the vibes to me are giving more early 1900s because they have cars, they have elevators. They still had those in the 1800s, but it's a little more comfortable. Like they were very new in the 1800s. So the vibe is giving early 1900s London, kind of like Newsies vibes.
That's what I was getting.
The main characters are both. The main characters are both journalists for a newspaper, the Gazette, and then there is a rival newspaper company called the Incredin Tribune, and they're a little more racy and like
a little more
putting
scandalous.
Things out there that maybe a little more scandalous, whereas the Gazette is a little more political, and they keep it clean.
Yeah, they're PC.
They don't want to talk about it, but there is a war. Yes, they're PC. There's a war going on between two gods. There is an underworld god named Dacre. Is that how you're reading it?
I was saying it Decray.
I think it's Dacre.
Like Decray Montgomery,
it doesn't really
the
matter.
guy from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, maybe it could be that.
I don't know.
But it's Dacre.
I think.
If
you've watched any of our previous episodes, you know me and Carrie are not the greatest at pronunciation because I've recently found out that Eric from Fourth Wing, people are saying Arik or A-Rat.
That's insane.
Hey, what the fuck is that about?
I'm calling him Eric. I don't care.
I'm calling him Eric too.
But anyways, Dacre or Decree, whatever, is the underworld god. And then there's what's her name? Enva?
Yeah. Enva or something like that.
Enda. That,
Enya.
Sue me.
Maybe?
I can't remember her name. I think it's Enya. She is they call it like the Skyling goddess. And it's giving a little bit of a Hades and Persephone vibe.
Obsessed.
That's not a spoiler. We do get a little more about the mythology behind the war. The farther you get into the book, I don't think you're there yet, Maddie.
No, I'm not.
But you will. You'll get a little more of the backstory between the gods and why they're at war. But end of the story is these two gods are at war, and there are the people who have gone to fight for Enya, the Skyling goddess. And then there are the people who are not necessarily fighting for, I'm going to call him Dacre, not necessarily fighting for him because he's got like an army of like almost like monsters, but there are like the upper class people of these towns are kind of staying out of it, maybe staying on the back end, supplying Dacre with like any information or with like kind of helping him on like the behind the scenes things because they think he's gonna win the war, even though he's kind of, in my opinion, like kind of evil. They think he's gonna win the war, and so they're staying on his side because they think it will preserve their money and their status and whatever. But then there are the people who are giving a little more like, oh, we're fighting for Enya because
Enva. I just found
fights
it.
for the Enva?
ENVA, yeah.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. We're fighting for Enva because she's fighting for the people a little bit more. She's like peaceful and loving and like doesn't want this whole war to be happening, but it's happening and people are fighting for her. So that's the background, is that there's this war going on and our main characters are working at the Gazette newspaper, and they're rivals fighting for a spot as columnists. So like they for sure get to write a column in the newspaper every single week. They're almost interns right now, and they're fighting for it. They're rivals. but also there's some tension because of course he's her rival, but he's also sexy, hot, and tall, and dark, and handsome. So obviously that's happening, and it's their whole vibe is so good.
I'm obsessed.
And then there's
with them.
lots of things with this brings in the trope. If you've read ACOTAR and you liked when they're writing the notes back and forth to each other, sort of that. There's lots of typewriters. There's lots of hidden messages. There's lots of back and forth at the at the newspaper. There's lots of oh, we're rivals, but I can't stop looking at him. But we're rivals, but he's so sexy hot. And it's so good. The vibes are so good. And Iris is a cute little British girl, and I like her.
And it's not, I really like that it's not, we get a third person omniscient.
Yes.
What's that called? Narration. And so we don't get a first person POV, which is nice, because it will switch every once in a while.
Yes.
We get both inner point of views, monologues, though. And it's really
nice. It actually
nice.
says that in the in the what's it called? The dedication in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It says, for Isabel, who read this book as I wrote it, who convinced me to add Roman's POV, and who occasionally lets me get away with things. P.S. I'm talking about chapter 34. Okay, I've read chapter 34, and now I have to go and see. I'm not going to spoil it because I know that you're also not on chapter 34, but I need to see what it is now so that I can tell you if you should really get into it. Oh, I think I just got there last night. Oh. Yes. Yes. Yes, very good. Yes, very, very good.
Okay.
Very good stuff happening in chapter 34.
Okay, sweet. I'll be sure to
I
get
also
there.
don't think there's not any real, so far, I'm almost done with the book. I don't think there's any spice in this. There's a little bit of young adult spice, I guess you would say, not anything more than Lightlark or Nightbane.
Okay.
Actually, less than Lightlark and Nightbane, because that one does get a little freaky.
Not too bad.
Okay, not any more than Powerless. So far, not any more than Powerless. But the words, the way that Rebecca Ross writes, first of all, beautiful. I cannot describe this book as anything other than beautiful to read. Something about it feels so the details and the way that she describes things. It I don't know. It at first it's definitely not the easiest read I've had, but it's not hard by any means. But it's there's so many descriptive words, and she just paints a picture really beautifully. I think she might be one of my favorite authors from this book. Really loving her. But there is parts where I'm I'm getting to a certain part in the book where I'm are they gonna have sex? Is there gonna be sex in this book?
I feel this. I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't really feel it was it was I don't know. I don't really feel it was
I don't think it was
advertised
classified as young
YA,
adult.
But at the same time,
because when I got it at Barnes and Noble, it was being sold on it wasn't even on a table. It was on the bookshelf, where they keep Crescent City and Fourth Wing. It was literally right below Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
Interesting.
So it was not in the young adult section.
When we got
there is
I wonder where Powerless and Lightlark sit.
They're in the young adult. I got those in the young adult section at Barnes & Noble.
I remember getting Powerless, but it was on a table. So it goes on a table in the front. Same with
Reckless. Especially Lightlark and Nightbane. I remember being concerned when we bought those because I was I think I didn't realize they were young adult when we decided to read them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely some spice in those, a little bit. It's not super, super detailed spice, but there's definitely some spice.
Yeah, it's more implied spice. I feel
of direct.
Yeah.
We're telling you every single detail of what is happening, in ACOTAR Fourth Wing. but there is definitely more. There's more spice in Lightlark and Nightbane than there is in Powerless and Reckless.
Yeah, definitely.
But like this one, it was not in the young adult section, and hopefully people don't see this as a spoiler, but like there is a conversation. I won't say about between who, but because you get introduced to some new people, but they do talk about sex, but they talk about it in a way that's like, oh, I haven't slept with anyone or since whenever, or
but the characters
like
are young.
Yeah, they are young.
Which makes me feel weird. Iris is 18.
I didn't think about that. Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. Reading this book, I forgot. In my mind, no, she's not. There's no fucking way
it's the
she is.
same thing with Feyre being 19, though. No, she's not.
No, she's not. Not in my brain. She's maybe... because she does give young a little bit in ACOTAR. I could give Feyre
21.
22.
Yeah. Literally.
21, 22. Nesta? That bitch is 25.
Yeah. Nesta is so real and so 25.
Elaine could be...
Elaine's like 23, 24.
3 or 24.
Yeah.
For sure.
She's like right smack dab in the middle.
But not.
Feyre's not 19 though.
With the... No.
Like the vibes. I really, really wish that authors would stop making every FMC 19. Can we cut that shit out?
Especially when, if you're, okay, I can understand it with like Reckless and Powerless. It is considered a young adult novel. So like, okay, making the characters young adult,
fine.
Sure. But that is one thing I really liked about our rom-coms that we were reading this summer.
Yes, me too.
Was that these are grown women. I think one of the youngest women that we were reading about was 24, 25. Mm-hmm. I think Love theoretically, I think the main character is 24. Cuz she's just out of college basically.
Right.
But no, I'm not loving
really
like when we're reading.
Don't like it.
I don't know if this is considered young adult or not. So far, I would let a high schooler read this book.
Maybe Ruthless Vows is where it gets like, because in ACOTAR,
I hope so.
there was like a sex scene, but it wasn't like super, yeah, and it wasn't super crazy.
No, it wasn't. I remember because it was kind of the first one, aside from the romance, it was the first fantasy smut is different than romance. Rom-com smut.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fantasy smut is like so much more intense to me, and like rom-com smut is like, ooh, I'm kicking my feet giggling. Yeah, get it, girl.
Yeah, I agree.
But like I think because fantasy just like creates such a world.
Yeah,
that it's like so much deeper than like sometimes in rom-coms you get a little bit of hookup culture.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is really my vibe with like intimacy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Do your thing, I guess. Mm-hmm. But in fantasy, it's like so intense that I'm just like, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Loving it. On that fantasy note, I think it's crazy that you like can put like a time frame of when you think it happened, because when I think of like fantasy, like it's not happening in a real period of time that happened in the world. You know what I mean? Like, like there are people who say like, oh, ACOTAR takes place and it's supposed to be inspired after this time period, this area.
Normally I don't do that. Because in my mind, like with something like ACOTAR, it's its own timeline.
It's like the MCU where it's like existing in a parallel universe that doesn't exist where I exist.
But I think I would say for ACOTAR, it's giving like when it comes to like the like Fae and Prythian and like the magical realm. To me, I'm like, okay, it's almost like, as far as technology goes, like almost like medieval times. We're talking swords and knives and arrows and bows and arrows and stuff. No guns, no crazy technology, like nothing like that. Like they have magic to do the fun things.
Right.
With Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, it's I think maybe a little more advanced than that, where they kind of have some like mechanics and engineers like making things a little more advanced. But it's still like if you go to like a village, they're still going to the well to get. Okay, sorry if you hear my dog screaming. Nugget!
Let him know.
Nugget, be quiet. Anyways, sorry, I love him. I don't talk to him like that all the time. Just when he's losing his shit. He's a tough boy. Anyways, but like what I was saying was in like Fourth Wing, if you're in a village, they're still going to the well to get their water. Like they don't have regular things, but they have like a toilet. Like they have plumbing, kind of. Because I don't like to think about them digging a hole in the ground and pissing and shitting.
Yeah, I don't think about that. Like I just think like they're in a whole different world that is unrelated to Earth. They don't know what cell phones are, not because they haven't invented them, but because why would you need them when you're telepathic? You know what I mean? Like, why would you need, like, it's just a different, like the culture is different because they're not human almost to me. Like, it's like this whole separate.
I get that. I think
I don't know.
For me, it became more real when in this book specifically, because they talk about like elevators, like she's to get up to her office at the newspaper, she takes an elevator. And so like, and then she talks about her flat and her like her mother like having a bunch of like cans and alcohol bottles around their flat, basically their apartment. And things like typewriters, like that's a very real thing.
Yeah. This is definitely giving,
it's not
like you said, it is very like Newsies-esque. But like even to me, I'm thinking
in
Newsies
a fantasy
the musical.
World. Yes.
Like I'm
I
not
agree.
Thinking like, I don't know, because like even like Newsies the musical, I'm not thinking like, oh, this was a real time period. No, everything's make believe in my head. I have a very hard time grasping like I think time periods, especially in history, especially when it's based off like a work of art, like a book or musical or something like that. Like even like something simple like Mean Girls. Heathers, I guess, is different because Heathers like is very so much 80s. But like even Mean Girls, I'm like, no, that's not a time period. That is just Mean Girls in the Mean Girls universe. It doesn't have a year.
I mean, it's like early 2000s.
Not in my head.
Like, but for me, it's like the energy. I guess for me, it's different because I am kind of like a history buff. Not to an extent where I'm going to like go take a history class. But when I go to places or like look at things, I like to know the like historical background and what was happening at that time. I think, which is why I really like this so much, which is also why I really like Outlander. Because we've been watching Outlander, and the author has a lot of, who I don't remember her name, the woman who wrote the Outlander books and helped with the show and stuff. It has a lot of real historical events that happened.
Gabaldon.
It has a lot of historical events that really did happen, but mixed in with fantasy. So like for this, this is almost like a perfect mesh for me because it's historical, sort of, in a sense where I can picture this like vintagey, almost Harry Potter-esque London, except in their world, this period of time, they're still almost influenced by versions of Greek mythology or Roman mythology and things like that. So it's like, in my mind, it's almost as if another realm, another timeline where the mythology beliefs and things that like used to happen in like Southern Europe or even in like the United Kingdom where they had like all of the like Celtic myths and things in Scotland and Ireland and all the things like that was almost a little that people get a lot of their inspiration for fantasy writing now. It's almost as if that had become the norm instead of like organized religion. And so it's like this, they still very much have the gods and goddesses, and the gods have real creatures that they don't really talk about, like in the cities and stuff. But then when you get out to the countryside people are like, nah, dog, this shit's legit. This is happening, and it's real out here.
That's wild.
I just really fuck with it.
I really fuck with it
I don't
too.
know. I think I like that it's, I like that it's like kind of historical. And I feel like when you and I go to Scotland, we're gonna like when you see like when you just even get into the energy of the Highlands, something is in the air up there. They put something in the air, and it's like you can just feel the history, but it's like a magical history.
That's called the lack of oil rigs that we are so surrounded by in Texas. That's called the lack of air poisoning.
It's like breathing in glitter.
It's like breathing in fresh air. I want to go. I keep saying this. I need to find it. I need to find the fucking rabbit hole. I need to find the threshold. I need to find the wall. I need wherever it is that takes me out of those bitches on TikTok who talk about phasing or phrase. I was fishing.
Oh, no, I was going to talk about
what the hell they're talking about. Where they genuinely think they're like, I'm falling asleep. I'm in a different place. Yeah, that's called dreaming, babe. But like, hello, what are they on? The magic mushroom crack cocaine that those bitches be on.
Yeah, dog. I guess we gotta do mushrooms. I don't know.
Give me some, because I need that. I need to be out of. Hi, corporate America is the worst. Take me out. I need to take my little toes and grip the grass in Scotland.
You know that scene from Tangled? Dylan and I watched Tangled the other night. That scene where she finally comes down from her tower, and there's a clip. Whoever animated Tangled has a foot fetish, because that bitch is not wearing shoes
ever
the entire movie, and there's so many close-ups on her toesies, and there's that part where she goes, just feel the grass, the dirt, and it's when her toes are like curling into the dirt.
Yeah, I hate that. I relate to. I hate seeing it. Nobody look at my toes while I'm curling them in the fucking dirt, but like I need to do it bad. Yeah, I need to.
Well, also
dig them in and get them dirty.
What if, hear me out, most of the time it's the weird men that do shrooms on like a regular basis and get weird. But because their frontal lobes are so underdeveloped, for them it just like
makes them have
shows
empathy.
them that other people have feelings. Things that girls are talking about at 7 years old at sleepovers. Literally. Okay, they're getting a picture of the world that women have had since we popped out of the womb. What if, for women, all it takes is to, like, do shrooms in the Scottish Highlands or something.
Right, and then you turn into a fairy.
You don't have to, and then you turn into a fairy.
Hello.
Maybe?
That's what I want.
Hello, hippies. Can you give me some insight here? Is that what happens?
Where are
Do you know something we don't know? Literally. Because I could get down with that. I have seen this thing on TikTok. I've had a weird For You page the past couple of days. It's been very astrology, but then I keep getting this one specific girl who talks about fae and fairies, like they're legit.
You know what? I think I know exactly who you're talking about, and I don't even care. I love her vibe. You guys could never make me hate her.
Yeah. I love her vibe. And she posted a thing, and it was like some replying to a comment where somebody was like, what about fairy circles? I'm going to put this out there. I don't know what the fuck a fairy circle is. Pretty sure it's just a circle on the ground in some magical part, I don't know, of the woods. Okay, I think they're in the woods. Yeah. And she was like, fairy circles is what the fae use to normally, like, how they get from place to place. Sometimes they use it to, like, communicate with other fae. Like, you can admire them. You can look at them. Don't step in one. No, I will.
You will.
I will be doing that, actually. Can I?
This kind of like, going to. Touches back on like when we read Addie LaRue and we were like, do you think if you beg enough at night, like the shadows really do come out? No, they don't. Because where am I? First of all, where am I finding sexy Luke? Hello.
Babe, the devil.
No, the devil's not like the devil doesn't give sexy energy. You know what I mean? Like if I'm thinking of like the Christian devil, I'm not thinking like, he's hot and sexy. No.
You know, I'm actually not either. But you know what's weird is that in the Bible, he is described as the most beautiful angel there ever was.
I would not know. I've not read the Bible.
That's just like it. I was raised Southern Baptist, so like I really like how it's like written is that he was the most beautiful angel. He was God's favorite angel. He was like stunning, charming.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was like stunning. He was charming. He was like the best. And then he fell from heaven because he, was doing crazy shit. And
was it like an Icarus situation where he just like flew too close to the sun?
No, I don't exactly know what he did, but I know that he was basically like, I guess maybe it actually could have been. Maybe he could have just gotten a big head. I don't really know that part. They didn't tell us that in Sunday school. But he fell from the heavens, whatever, got condemned, became the devil. And that's why a lot of the like, I think, a lot of the vibes that you get that are really toxic, kind of, that's like, oh, if they're too beautiful, like that they used to take out on women and like burn them at the stake, where it's like, if they're too beautiful, if they're too charming, if they're too
educated,
sexy,
too
hot,
opinionated,
if there's like not to like stand up for the devil or anything, not trying to do that, but they would take those values of like when men would lust after women, lust being one of like 7 deadly sins. It was because Lucifer was so handsome and so charming, and that was how he got Eve to like eat the apple. He was so convincing and manipulative, and it was like that vibe kind of like a siren or something being seen as evil, or what? A woman who was
give him here. Not the devil, not the devil. I'm really not trying to like summon evil spirits. But like sirens, like Luke, I don't know. Like I know, but that Luke is where that's where Lucifer. A lot of I just like don't feel
that's where a lot of people in if you haven't read this Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, the male read it. First of all, it's a beautiful book. It's a standalone too. It doesn't take long. The male main character, they call him Luke, stands for Lucifer. Okay, he's like he's not described as the devil, but he deals in souls. All right, you ever heard Devil Went Down to Georgia? He's working in souls.
He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind.
He was way behind. He was willing to make a deal.
He said, "My name's
talented fiddle
Johnny."
player too, apparently. And it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet. You're gonna regret.
The best there's ever been.
Period. Speak on it.
You know what?
Speak
I don't
on
know.
It, Johnny.
Like that devil just seems different to me than like Luke. But it's the same way that like
because it's a fantasy book, it's supposed to be different.
Yeah, but it's the same way that
it's
like
supposed to be different.
I don't know. You can't convince me like the people who actually believe that Fae are real and like okay. You're telling me they're evil, but I just want to be friends with them.
I sent you this thing on TikTok. It was kind of scary in the sake of the world. It was this girl who I guess like knows a lot about like marine biology and stuff and science. She looked like a smart girl. But she was basically saying that they found these rocks type looking things at the bottom of the ocean. And the main part of the TikTok was them saying like, oh, they expected these rocks to be like a form, of like they expected to find some type of what's it called when something dies? Decomposition,
like a fossil
where it decomposes into the earth. Kind of like that. They expected to find some type of like they were making some type of gas or energy or whatever. They expected to be like carbon dioxide. So like when things die, they release carbon dioxide or things like that. When there's decomposing happening. And obviously we can't breathe carbon dioxide. But they expected to find that. They actually found the opposite. They found these rocks making oxygen.
They find alive rocks?
And basically, I guess, the rocks, almost like plants. How plants make oxygen, these rocks were like making oxygen at the ocean floor.
Does oxygen exist in the ocean? I thought the whole point is that it's...
Water is H2O. So
oh my fucking God. Cut that out, Carrie. Cut that fucking part out. That's so embarrassing. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not cutting it out.
That's so fucking embarrassing. What the hell?
But
can you tell chemistry was not my strong suit?
It wasn't my strong suit either. I could be talking out of my ass.
You at least knew that water was H2O. You remembered that it had oxygen in it.
I only remember that because of the mermaid show.
But it also has 2 hydrogen. What the hell is a hydrogen?
It's just another chemical, another gas.
I don't believe anything. They're lying.
However, the point...
And there's breathing rocks.
They're not breathing. They're just creating oxygen.
Everything's a lie, and I need to find the realm.
But here's my point, is that her TikTok was about like, oh, they're trying to mine these rocks, and her saying this could be bad because it's changing the way that the oxygen to carbon dioxide balance in the ocean. We need to not be doing that. But
why is that our problem?
What
Tell the
I
rocks
thought
that.
Huh?
Why is that our problem? Tell the rocks that.
No, because the people are trying to humans are trying to mine the rocks to do something with them. But if they take all these oxygen rocks out of the ocean,
why are they doing
it could fuck shit up. Who knows?
Oh my god,
I don't
this
know.
is so stressful.
I don't really know what's happening. I didn't actually listen to the entire TikTok. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw that the rocks were making oxygen on the ocean floor and that this was like a big deal. And I was like immediately thinking, that's how there's mermaids. That's how mermaids are real. The mermaids, that's how they get oxygen, these rocks.
I thought mermaids were like fish where they had gills where they could like do whatever it is that gills do for fish.
Yes, but they could also be like dolphins where they're technically still mammals and they need to breathe air. But they're mermaids. They can't risk going to the surface that often. And they just adapted to being kind of like breathing both.
And now
maybe?
they have rocks.
And now they have breathing rocks. I don't know. But I think it's cool, and in the realm of like, I believe in mermaids. Sue me.
Yeah.
Sue me.
No, I believe in mermaids, and I believe in fae, and I believe in Wonderland, and I believe in
I'm sorry. The Scots had all the fae, and they're what? I don't know if they made that. I don't know. I don't think they made it all up. I don't think they did.
No, it's the same way with like. It's so funny that we're talking about this, and I sit here all the time and I'm like, no, I'm not a religious person. It's kind of ironic, but it does not mean I'm not an atheist. Please relax, everybody.
Please relax.
I'm not an atheist.
Also, I want to throw this out there too. I know I was talking about the devil and like
we're not
the
devil
character
worshippers.
traits and like, nah, dude, I'm a Christian, not in the sense where I like hate people. Actually, the opposite of that.
Yeah,
I love
a good one,
so
an actual one.
Get your
Yeah,
what I personally believe Christianity is supposed to be,
Yeah.
not hateful craziness.
Yeah.
Anyways, now we're out of that.
All right, but it's the same way that like
crazy.
I don't know. I believe Jesus was real. I believe that, like you're telling me mythology
he was like a documented
is not a
human
fucking
being.
myth. Those motherfuckers were real.
No. That motherfucker right there is not real.
She's me. She is me. Except for the opposite. They are real. And I haven't seen them, but I feel them lurking. You know what I mean?
Well, here's my thing. Here's what I'm thinking, because Dylan and I have actually talked about this before too, where we've gone to Maui and there's Polynesian Pacific Islander myths. That's where you get things like Moana, where there's the demigod Maui.
Yeah.
Like that myth is real. There's the concept of like Tefiti. Like, I don't know if that's her actual name in mythology, but like it's based on a real thing. We've heard like one of our friends that was like one of our tour guides there was telling us that there's like, they call it like Mama Maui, and there's like a specific energy. It's why we love like Hawaii, specifically Maui, so much, is because like there is just like a specific energy there. And we went on like the road to Hana. It was like just me and Dylan and her, and she introduced us to a bunch of her friends, a bunch of like local like little shops, whatever. And like there's just like something there that it's like this almost like Mother Earth feeling. And Dylan and I are like, what if, hear me out, okay, what if there's like other, like, obviously Dylan and I still believe in like a God, but like what if there's like separate little like goddesses or gods here and there, like that kind of almost the same thing as like Greek mythology or Roman mythology, where they like rule over something and they kind of, they're like the managers.
It's giving
what if we have little mythical managers?
No, and it's like, it would be, to me, it's like thinking there's one God would be like, okay, the president of the United States is the only guy in charge. Well, that's factually false.
Yeah.
There are other governors and other rulers and are they all great? Obviously not. But that's because they're men. And
but also too,
we
I
shouldn't
think at
give
the same
humans
time
that kind of power. But like, there's
I
just
think it's very
more.
I think it's very naive to, and again, there's plenty of people who don't believe in this, whatever. I think it's very naive to assume that the concept of things being evil doesn't exist. There is one, in my opinion, 100% evil energy. Evil, if you believe in spirits and whatnot, if you believe in a higher power, whatever it is, there are evil things, at least on planet Earth.
Yeah. Men.
Like, I firmly believe that. And in the same way, there was definitely in mythology, if you look back at it, gods and goddesses or myths or whatever of things that were evil and bad and that you needed to stay away from. At the same time, there's also very good things. And then there was some gray area. And like, I just think that it's like very, I don't know. To me, I'm like, okay, yeah, there's definitely maybe not definitely, but I like to think that there's maybe, you know, when you can go to like Greece and they have all these different monuments of like where gods and goddesses were and like what was happening there. And I'm like, I don't know if maybe it's a placebo effect, but I might beg to differ. I've never been to Greece, but I feel like there's like an energy there.
No, it's not
there
a placebo
definitely
effect
is in
because
Scotland.
the energy is different. For instance, like where I am in Jacksonville, Florida, the energy is different here than it is in Texas. Drastically different from the energy in historical Boston. Drastically different from the energy that you're gonna get on a mountain in Colorado. Drastically different from Hawaii. Yeah. Drastically different from Scotland. Like, it's all so separate. And that's because, like, I don't know what it's because, but like,
you know what I want? I want to get like an astrology girl or like
a witch.
Like a witch. And we got to get one of them on the podcast. I want to pick their brain on the world of fantasy books or romantasy books. I want to find a book talk girly. Book talk girlies. If you're an astrology girly and a book talk girly, or an astrology girly and a witch, or all three,
please,
we
need your assistance.
I want to pick your brain. I want to get up in there. I want to wrestle around. What's going on?
I need it.
Are we making any sense?
Probably not.
Please,
but
a public service announcement. If you fall into any of those categories, come watch this episode of Book Club. Are we making any sense?
And also, come watch this episode of Book Club. DM us. Come on our podcast, for the love of God. We have so many questions.
Yes.
And like,
so many questions.
I don't know. We just need to speak.
I want to know if we're like, because I'm speaking on vibes.
Yeah.
But sometimes I see things where I'm like speaking on vibes or I'm living on vibes. And then I see like an astrology TikTok and I'm like, oh.
Why do those vibes?
There's a reason for that.
Why is that giving a reasoning to my
vibes?
vibes?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Also, like,
I would like you to educate me.
I'm not even going to lie. When we were moving, because Brian and I just moved, my husband and I just moved from an apartment to our first home. And I had like a box, like a shoe box he was making fun of me because I was like, because he's like, he's having all these things and I'm like, throw them away. You don't use that. And he's like, but I want to keep it. And I'm like, okay, then get a box and keep your memorable things in a box. Because that's what I have, like cards and pictures and whatever.
Same.
But I had a shoe box and he was like, I was like, don't touch that. And he was like, what? And I was like, there's energy around it and it needs to be protected. You can't touch it. He was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I opened it. There's a Ziploc bag with a bay leaf, a cinnamon stick, a bay leaf, a cinnamon stick, and then there's a folded up printer paper with handwritten my like goals for the year. Because last year, before the year started, there was like a super moon towards the end of the year, and this TikToker was like, write down your 10 goals for the, like, repeat in your head what you want for the next year, write them down, and then write what you are willing to do and like the things that you are willing to do and give up for these things to happen. So for each goal, you basically had to say like, this is my goal. And you didn't say like, this is my goal. You said, I will have this. I will do
like
this.
Manifesting.
And in order to do that, I will sacrifice, or I will put in blah, 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 whatever. Right. So I did that, and I'm not even kidding. Half of the list has already happened. Like,
oh my God, I can't wait to get to the end of the year.
And she was
and
like,
hear about the rest of the things.
You put like a cinnamon stick and clove, anything that means like anything that like might bring good energy your way. But like, I don't know why the cinnamon stick and the bay leaf was important, but I think it was. And so I put it in there, and then she was like, and you sleep with it under your pillow for a night, and then you put it in a shoebox, and you like, don't like, just keep it there. And I literally like,
at the end of this year, I am so
I hope I didn't
that.
like fuck up by opening it, looking at
Talking
it.
about it. Oh, opening it.
But like literally one of them was like this in 2024, Brian and I will be living in a house. We will buy our first house. In 2024, I will get like a big girl job. I don't remember how I phrased it, but like both of those things have happened. It was just crazy. But that's like the power of manifestation, insane. Like, I don't know.
I still don't really know how to do it because like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I was off TikTok for a long time.
I also don't know how to do it. I just like follow directions of the witch girls that I see on TikTok.
Maybe that thing too. Maybe if we see a thing, maybe if we can get an astrology girl, a manifesting girl. Tarot cards kind of scare me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know.
Well, that's why you just take what resonates with you and then leave the rest.
Yeah, I struggle with that.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That concept.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. Tarot cards are up in the air for me, but anything around in that realm of like how to manifest or like doing things like that, or like the witchy stuff, like I maybe they can give us some insight on that.
Yeah.
Because I do believe in astrology, like the moon and the stars, all of that kind of thing. Like, again, tarot cards are up in the air. But when it comes to, like, the moon and the stars, like, we are tracking real things, real planets here.
They're there.
They're there. And also, I want to throw this out there. I sent this to you on TikTok. I sent you a ton of astrology things on TikTok. We should go through those tonight.
Okay.
But did you know that Libras and Aries are sister signs?
I actually did know that.
I didn't know that. Oh my God. We are cosmic.
I think it's because
we are cosmic bestie soulmates.
No, I think it has to do with something that we're almost exactly 6 months apart, you and I. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are almost exactly 6 months apart.
That's so exciting.
Which is such a
us.
Beautiful number, by the way. Like, that's such a good number apart that we are. Also, the pro tip for you guys: you and your best friend need to send each other reels and reels and TikToks, and then have a designated FaceTime date where you sit down and you watch them together. It makes the experience.
You share your screen. Share your screen. One person scrolls through them. You react to them together. You don't watch them until you sit down and talk and watch through them together, and you get to laugh at them together. We literally spent 3 hours. We had almost a month worth of TikToks. We alternate. We'll do Instagram Reels and we'll do TikToks. Mm-hmm. There's normally more TikToks now that I have gotten onto TikTok. Yeah. But we spent 3 hours going through them, and we were exhausted. I don't think we were done till 2 a.m, 3 a.m. your time. Yeah. But it was so fun, and the TikToks are so funny. You forget that you even sent them, and you get to experience them all over again.
And then sometimes,
especially for my long distance besties.
Yeah, long distance besties really need to do that. But like sometimes we'll also
obviously it's better when we are together,
and it's really fun because like if you watch it immediately when they send it, then you're like, oh, well, I've seen
You're
this.
like, oh,
I'm not going to send this. But it's so much better when you're like, oh, I sent that. And then you get to watch it double time. But like, it's just incredible and
so good.
Really highly recommend. Imagine we sound like fucking 80-year-old grandmothers being like, hey, did you guys you with the air fryer when you were like, the air fryer is crazy? And I'm like, yes, I've had an air fryer for 4 years.
Everyone has one.
Like everybody has an air fryer. And you're like,
I
crazy.
still don't have an air fryer.
You need to get one. They're life changing, truly.
No,
They're
I know.
probably going to cause cancer, but like
in my new apartment, I'm getting an air fryer.
I will get you an air fryer.
It's gonna be the only cooking. The only cooking thing I have is gonna be one pot for soup and then an air fryer.
I need a coffee thing too.
Oh yeah,
but
I make matcha, so I have my tea kettle and I'm good.
Yeah, but anyways, if you guys haven't done that, probably do it. Sorry if we sound like 80-year-old women trying to recommend something to the young hip people, but it was life-changing truly for us. And we also would like the TikTok astrology witch girls to talk to us. Tell us things.
Yes, give us some information. Tell us if we're making any type of sense. Oh, come on here. Tell us all about our signs because I'm a little egomaniac and I like to hear about it.
Oh my. Real, honestly. Like I love when people are like, someone the other day at work was like, your big 3 is amazing. And I was like, yes,
that makes me feel so good. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but thank you.
That's an insane thing to say because I feel like my big 3 is fucking crazy. But thank you.
You know what's
I will
insane
kiss you right now on the mouth.
Is that yeah. My big 3 are all air signs. Libra sun, Libra rising, Aquarius moon.
I don't know anything.
I don't stand a
wish
chance.
I could tell you something about that. See, I want somebody to tell us something about that.
I just know that having your big 3 all be in the same element is like wild. Can you imagine think about it can you imagine your big 3 all being fire signs?
No, two out of the
How
3
intense
are.
that would feel.
But one of mine is Cancer. Cancers are just as intense, just on the opposite fucking end of the spectrum. Like, that's insane.
I need to do Dylan. I need to look up Dylan's chart. I want to know what his big 3 are because he's a Taurus, and I know that Libras and Tauruses aren't supposed to make any sense, and maybe we don't make any sense, but we make it work.
Brian is a Leo, and I am an Aries.
Yeah,
and I love fire signs.
But Dylan and I were talking about it at lunch. Yeah, we were talking about it at lunch the other day, and because Dylan's not like a huge astrology person, but like he understands when I give him things. I'm like, these are some character traits of a Taurus, and he's like, oh no, that tracks. And he knows that earth and air. It's because he watched Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my God.
That's why he knows about the elements, which I agree. And in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang is trying to learn to master all the elements, and there's a whole phase where he's trying to learn earthbending, and it's really, really, really hard for him because he is an air nomad, and air is the opposite of earth, and so he really struggles to learn how to earthbend. It's like a whole thing because they really clash.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, no, we've never done. We have really high highs. And we have really low lows. Like, we're kind of constantly managing a balance in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, it's a difficult thing.
We make it happen. We need an astrology gal. Or pal.
Yeah, we do. Ah, yes. Or a pal. Be our friend.
Or
don't we seem like people you want to be friends with? We're so sane.
What's a gender neutral term? Is pal gender neutral? I would say pal. We need a pal. Bud. Yeah.
We need a pal.
We need an astrology or witch pal. Gal, guy, pal.
Somebody.
Let us know.
I don't know if I trust a male witch.
If he was
but maybe
like a gay man.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm partial to women.
I am definitely partial to, well, we all know I'm partial to women. I fucking hate men.
But hey, never say never, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyways, that was the episode.
So-
We really love Divine Rivals.
Yes, I can't wait to finish it. And actually, the next time we talk about it, there probably will be spoilers. But this book is like actually beautiful, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the world that it's in, and I'm ready to get into fall. We're getting back into fantasy.
And we started like a big book club, not a big book club, but we doubled the size of ours. So we have 2 more gals that we're going to do a book club with. And we're going to read a lot of really fun books.
We're gonna crack into Throne of Glass soon.
We are cracking into Throne of Glass. So our ACOTAR girlies, I know that we started this podcast because of ACOTAR. So
Because of
our
ACOTAR,
ACOTAR girlies, we are starting Throne of Glass, and we will probably be doing 1,000,001 episodes about it, because I fear that we are going to be engulfed.
It's gonna be a long road. Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm
though.
so
I'm
excited.
ready for it.
I've never been more ready for anything.
Big sleigh. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready to get into my Libra energy. I got to get through Virgo first, but whatever.
Bailey's a Virgo. I love Virgos.
I like Virgo women.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I just like women.
No, so real. I meet any woman and I'm like, "What's your sign?" And she'll tell me a random sign. I'm like, "Love that." It's second
Love
I hear
that.
like, "Oh, I'm a male." This I'm like, figures.
Figures.
It's fitting. Dick.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to be outside. What? You should go inside.
You should be in a
You
cave.
should be in a cave. It's literally me at men. You don't
All right.
deserve it.
Thanks for coming to book club
Thanks
this
for
week.
coming to book club.
See ya next week.
See you next Friday.
Love ya. Love you.
Love ya.